Pokemon Infinite Fusion is one of the most popular and impressive fan games ever created. By fusing two Pokemon together, you can create new, never-before-seen creatures with their own custom sprites much of the time. There are thousands upon thousands of these possible fusions, and with the community chipping in to create artwork for a significant amount of them, this is a fan project that captures the imagination. And players have taken it further. Did you know that people play Infinite Fusion competitively? Yes, a competitive Pokemon format with thousands of possible combinations, perhaps having the most options in any competitive Pokemon format of all time. But despite having such vast options, there is still a meta here. Some of these fusions rise to the top and find themselves high on the usage stats. Even Infinite Fusion has top-tier Pokemon to worry about. So let's talk about some of them. Who are the best of the best when it comes to Pokemon fusions? You might be shocked to learn that the number one most powerful fusion in the whole game is Snorcor, a fusion of Snorlax and Gliscor, which has a delightful piece of pixel art here, created by the artist Katten KG. Very well done. Now, the way Pokemon Fusion works in Infinite Fusion is interesting. You can choose a head Pokemon and a body Pokemon. The head will determine the final Pokemon's HP, special attack, and special defense stats, while the body will determine their attack, defense, and speed. So it's important to consider who is the head and who is the body. In this case, the head is Snorlax, and the body is Gliscor, resulting in a normal flying type Pokemon that can learn Poison Heal. It has an incredible stat distribution, with high HP, attack, defense, and special defense. Very good mixed bulk, and reasonably fast too, with 73 speed. When you fuse two Pokemon, you also get access to all of their different abilities. And in this case, the key one that you want access to is Gliscor's Poison Heal. Poison Heal is one of the best abilities in the whole game. And for this reason, Gliscor is one of the most popular Pokemon in Infinite Fusion to fuse with, because you get access to that crucial Poison Heal. Plus it has pretty good stats too, on its own merits. Thanks to this ability, instead of taking damage when you are poisoned, you will heal 1/8 of your max HP each turn while you are poisoned, which is way more than what Leftovers heals. And luckily you can just self-inflict poison with the Toxic Orb item. And Snorlax goes incredibly well with Gliscor, not only because of the stats being incredibly well-rounded, but because it is a normal type. And that means you get same type attack bonus on the move Facade. Facade is a 70 power normal type physical attack that has double power if the user is burned, poisoned, or paralyzed. This is a popular option on Gliscor in many formats because Gliscor poisons itself and therefore it has an incredible 140 base power when used by Gliscor. This is even better on Snorcor because the guy is a normal type, giving us an unbelievable 1.5x damage increase thanks to same type attack bonus. It should be easy to see why this is such a powerful fusion. It has everything. It's defensively outstanding. Because it's already poisoned, it's effectively immune to status, reducing possible counterplay, and the damage output is just really difficult to beat. Snorcor is the number one most used Pokemon in the Infinite Fusion OU metagame. And you know who's not too far behind Snorcor as the second most used Pokemon? Alaode. This slightly disgusting creature is an incredibly powerful force in this metagame when you know it. Alakazam and Electrode combine to create a truly earth-shatteringly powerful special attacker. Electrode is kind of broken in Infinite Fusion because of the way fusing works. The body Pokemon, remember, determines the attack, defense, and speed stat of the fusion. So Electrode is the perfect body Pokemon, since it has massive speed but very low offensive stats. If the head Pokemon is something with a high special attack, like Alakazam, they complement each other perfectly. Alakazam provides the offensive firepower, while Electrode provides the speed. And that's not all Electrode provides. Electrode also has a pretty nice move pool full of electric type attacks that Alakazam does not have. Most notably Volt Switch being a key pivoting option. The final result is also a Psychic and Electric dual type, so there's stab on that Volt Switch. Another thing that makes this combination so incredible is the fact that you can choose Magic Guard as an ability. Magic Guard is another one of the strongest abilities in the whole game, granting a complete immunity to indirect damage. And there are many advantages to this, the first of which is that you can run a Life Orb with no downside whatsoever. You just get the attack bonus and the recoil damage you're completely immune to because of Magic Guard. Magic Guard also generally provides immunity to a bunch of stuff in battle, like hazards, status, sandstorm chip, etc. But randomly in Infinite Fusion, I believe they gave Electrode access to the move Mind Blown, which is usually only available on Blacephalon. This is an insane thing to give to a Pokemon that can fuse to be able to get Magic Guard, because Mind Blown is a 150 power fire type attack. Enormous power with 100 accuracy. The drawback though is that you lose half of your health if you use it. But because of Magic Guard, you are completely immune to that recoil effect that is usually the big drawback to the move being so good. So this Pokemon right here, Alaode, is evading justice at every angle. It's bypassing all of these inbuilt drawbacks to all of these things. Electrode is really fast, but it has no stats, but not if you combine it with Alakazam, which also gives you immunity to the entire world, more damage from Life Orb, and the strongest fire coverage that you could possibly have. Plus you can pivot. This is the platonic ideal for a special attacker. This is the peak of special attackers in Infinite Fusion. This is as good as it gets. It has everything going for it, really. Plus I think it's prepared a la mode, which is an advantage culinarily, if it didn't already have enough advantages. The sprite artwork for Alaode was created by Aquatic Panic. I must admit, it's a frightening sprite. It frightens me, but it's certainly evocative. We can say that much. And you will never guess what the third best fusion in this game is, folks. You will never guess. It is Enetta. Entei fused with Meloetta's Pirouette form. Yes, in Infinite Fusion, you can fuse specifically with the Pirouette form of Meloetta, which creates for some very interesting possibilities. Enetta is one that I was surprised to see, because this is a combination of two Pokemon that aren't typically very good, but together they create an absolute monster. This ends up being a fire-fighting type with extremely well-rounded stats. You have a great combination of speed, bulk, and attacking power all at once. Very, very solid. But what's really crazy about Enetta is that it gets Serene Grace. Serene Grace is a crazy ability that doubles the secondary effect chance on moves, and maybe you're already putting the pieces together here. Entei has access to one of the best moves in the game, Sacred Fire. A 100 power fire type attack with a 50% chance to burn. That's already really, really good on Entei. But with Serene Grace, that 50% chance is doubled, and this move has a 100% chance to burn. That is crazy. Enetta is very popular as a wall breaker because of how spammable Sacred Fire is and how strong it is. High power attack with Stab, throw a Choice Band on there, what the hell can come in? Even resistances are getting burned, not 50% of the time, 100% of the damn time. And Meloetta-Pirouette rounds you out so well, not only giving you this broken attack, but firefighting is just a great dual combo. Definitely better than just mono fire. You are neutral to rock, which is huge. You have Stab close combat. And crucially, U-turn as well from Meloetta's move pool makes you not only a wall breaker, but a pivoting wall breaker, which is always fantastic. This is a great example of what fusions can create. You take two Pokemon that seem terrible on their own, but combined they create one of the most powerful things in the whole game. Completely complementing each other. And inventing the unique option of a 100% burn move. It's unbelievable levels of power. Never before seen. Poco Pish did the artwork for this one. Poco Pish. I think it's a creative rendition. I like the hair flowing upwards very majestically. Now what you need to know about the Infinite Fusion metagame is that it is a Murretocracy. The best rise to the top. And who better to use in a Murretocracy than Murret himself, the founder of the very theory. People keep trying to convince me that Murret doesn't have any merit, but I just think that that's stupid. That's an antiquated opinion in this day and age, because it has Sticky Hold, which is objectively meritus. It cannot have its item knocked off by the move Knock Off. That is objectively better than nothing, and guess what? It has Explosion to end its own existence for a fleeting reward. I consider that to be strategic. I'm sorry, folks. That was a lie, all those things I just said. Murret is not very good at all. But I had to acknowledge it. Very well done on the sprite by Falucat. Very well done on the artwork. An exceptional creature design. The number 4 Pokemon by usage is an absolutely diabolical creature. This is Clefcune. I think that if you've played competitive Pokemon in your life, you could probably see why this is so great just looking at it. The sprite is insane. It's majestic, but at the same time, this creature looks like it doesn't want to exist. Is there a sense of dread in that face, or am I imagining things? Sprite by Kiwi Kelly, very well done. Clefable and Suicune come together to form a monster here. Clefable, of course, has Magic Guard. It's going to be a common theme to fuse with something that has a broken ability. Magic Guard is very common here. Clefable is a mono fairy type. Suicune is a mono water type. The result? A fairy water type Pokemon, which is a great type combination, one of the best in the whole game. The main reason to fuse with Suicune is for that water typing, really. It's also just a nice high stat water type to fuse with. Now, even though the head will provide more weight towards its higher stats and the body will do the same, they do average. So because Clefable has such low base stats, the result for Clefcune is still a rather low base stat total. But with access to Magic Guard and the crucial Soft Boiled for self-sufficient healing, you have an incredibly powerful boost sweeping win condition here. With Moonblast and Scald for convenient stab, and there's no need for rest when you're immune to status effectively anyway, thanks to Magic Guard. This is a pretty simple one. It's just a really powerful Calm Mind Sweeper with a broken ability, and an outstanding dual typing. Now I'll tell you who my personal favorite of the top tier fusions is so far. Mamoreloom. This guy's crazy, look at this. Sprite by Aria Melisma. Look at that mushroom-headed Mamoswine, what a guy. Mamoreloom is an ice-fighting type Pokemon, obviously combining Mamoswine with Breloom. And you get access to the ability Technician from Breloom's ability set. And this is huge. Technician is an incredible offensive ability granting moves with 60 power or less a power boost. Mamoswine happens to benefit greatly from having access to this ability because it has Ice Shard for Ice-type physical priority, which gets boosted by Technician. You also have Icicle Spear, a multi-hit ice move where each individual hit is getting boosted by Technician because the power is 25. And then of course you get access to Breloom's fantastic Technician moveset with Mach Punch for additional stab priority, and Bullet Seed, which is perfect. Bullet Seed is very complementary here because you'll notice that Water Fairy type Pokemon would switch into these stab types very well. Bullet Seed is exactly what you want for that instance. And the stats combine together well enough. You end up being a bit faster than Breloom is with 73 speed, an incredible 130 attack, and your bulk is not the best, but to be honest, considering how powerful this guy is, 93 HP and 80 defense could be worse. Now, Mamoreloom works very well alongside pivots to get it in safely and revenge KO things with its incredible stab prior moves, or just do a million damage with its Technician boosted multi-hit moves. Now you're probably thinking, why not run Spore on this? It's because Spore is actually a banned move in Infinite Fusion OU. In fact, sleep moves are banned entirely. And that might be a shock to you, you might be thinking, why would they do that? Think about it for 2 seconds. This is fusions, for goodness sake. You could just fuse Electrode or something really fast with something that gets Spore, and you would have an absurdly fast Pokemon with accurate sleep, and nobody would be able to play the game. Spore is, by design, only on really slow Pokemon. So imagine that on fast Pokemon, you can see the problem. Now, I wasn't there for when that was possibly breaking the game, but you can imagine how insane that would have been. So as soon as I saw that, I thought to myself, yeah, that checks out, that makes sense. This would be a metagame where sleep is game breaking. But even without its most iconic trait of that Spore option, Breloom is being used here as an incredible fusion with one of my favorite Pokemon of all time, Mamoswine, to create an incredibly cool wall breaker here. Have you ever seen a Pokemon like this? It's reminiscent of others, but it's still got a unique typing and a pretty fun set of offensive options. I really love Mamoreloom. Speaking of insane offensive fusions never before conceived, Togeking. Now don't worry, this is not using Serene Grace like you think. This is using sheer force. Togeking is insane. This is a type combination that doesn't exist in the main series, Fairy Ground. And many theorize that if this existed in the main series, it might be the new best type combo. It's incredible. You have Dragon immunity, Ground immunity, and also a very good set of defensive and offensive qualities. So many good resistances. And a type combo that complements one another offensively. Ground hits the steel types that resist Fairy, for goodness sake, and the poison types that resist Fairy. It's a near perfect type combo, and it's possible here with Sheer Force on top. Sheer Force, another one of the best offensive abilities in the game. If an attack has a secondary effect, it gains 1.3x power, but nullifies the effect. So Moonblast here will have bonus power, but will lose the special drop chance. A small price to pay for the incredible power boost, and many of you already know the way Sheer Force interacts with Life Orb. If Sheer Force is providing that incredible boost to a move, for whatever reason Life Orb doesn't proc. Sheer Force interacts that way with a lot of mechanics, ignoring certain things, but Life Orb is one of them. So you get all the upside from Life Orb with none of the downside. Especially because Togekiss and Nidoking together fused have a great move pool. You got Nasty Plot for boosting and outstanding coverage. All Sheer Force boostable. The stats are a bit low, but I mean, look how good Nidoking can be just because of Sheer Force. So you can imagine that this is scarcely worried about its stats and is more concerned with the incredible amount of boosts it's getting on its attacks and the outstanding offensive combination. This is a very cool and very fun broken fusion, wouldn't you say? Togeking. The sprite here is done by Hero Drawing, and there are more sprites too. There's this one by Richard STF. This one has more of a kind-hearted spirit with a smile on its face, while this one is more of a aggressive rendition of the character. There's many ways you can interpret this character. Many different artists have tried to do their own version, and many will in the future, I'm sure. Now this guy is an abomination, isn't he? Toxitar is a fusion of Toxapex and Tyranitar. They really made Toxapex Sif, for goodness sake, and I'm not even kidding. Toxapex fused with Tyranitar ends up being a poison dark type, which is one of the best type combos you can get. It has only one weakness to ground, and of course immunity to poison, the ability to remove toxic spikes, and psychic immunity, as well as myriad resistances. It's an outstanding type combo. You also borrow Regenerator from Toxapex. It's one of the best defensive abilities in the game, healing you for a third of your HP every time you switch out. So Assault Vest Toxapex Sif right here is perhaps the premier special wall of Infinite Fusion OU. It's got everything. And they conveniently combine together to have a pretty broken SNET distribution, don't they? You get huge defense and special defense and huge attack at the same time. 110 attack is really good on a Pokemon that is so bulky defensively. And you can even afford to run an Assault Vest to enhance that special bulk further, because of course you have such incredible attacks, utility attacks in your moveset. Knockoff, obviously, outstanding. Pursuit, this guy's also a trapper. Defeating ghost types, defeating perhaps Alaode. Alaode is going to get pursuit trapped by this. Good luck, buddy. You get Dragon Tail to shuffle people around. You get a Gunk Shot for Poison Stab against those pesky fairy types that are running around, like Clefcune and all those kinds of fellows. Toxapex Sif, also known as Toxitar, is evidently incredible. Probably the premier special wall of this insane format. And even though it is a fusion of one of my favorite Pokemon of all time and one of my least favorite, I think the result ends up being pretty cool. This is an improvement over Toxapex, I will say. The sprite here is by, goodness, how do you say this? Anod Dutch Introvert. Anod Dutch Introvert has rendered this one, and I think they've done a good job. You want to see something messed up? You want to see something messed up, folks? Regitu. Registeel combined with Xatu. What if Skarmory had Magic Bounce? That's what this is. When you combine Registeel and Xatu, the result is a Steel Flying type. An elite defensive combo. And of course you can borrow that outstanding ability Magic Bounce from Xatu, resulting in a defensive powerhouse. Magic Bounce is one of the best abilities in the game, bouncing back various status effects to the enemy, making you immune to status while statusing the enemy if they try to do it to you, and immune to having hazards set against you. Bringing in a Magic Bounce Pokemon can bounce the hazards back to the other player's side. It's extraordinarily powerful. A more accurate point of comparison for this is actually Corviknight, not really Skarmory, because it doesn't have hazards, but it does have Defog, U-Turn, Roost, similar options that Corviknight runs, and it can have Nightshade as well for more consistent neutral damage against things. And the stats are pretty incredible considering how great the typing and ability are, especially that 123 special defense stat. This is one of the most powerful utility and pivot Pokemon in the game. Basically think of Corviknight, but what if it was way better? That's what this is right here. And it's a frightening guy. It's created by Scotsman, the sprites. Xatu with a Registeel face. Something about this is sinister. I can't quite put my finger on it, but something about it is frightening me. I'm gonna get out of here. Now, I've just raised the question to you, what if Corviknight had Magic Bounce? But I'll do you one better. What if Forretress had Regenerator, and Pivoting, and Rapid Spin? It's not a what if anymore, it's right in front of your eyes. It's Tantress. Tantress is another one of the most powerful utility fusions in the game. When you combine Tangrowth and Forretress, you end up with a Grass Steel type, just like Ferrothorn, but this guy's even stronger. It's got Regenerator for that incredible, reliable healing. It's got Volt Switch from Forretress's moveset for pivoting. It's got Hazards, Stealth Rock, and Spikes. It's got Rapid Spin. It's got Knockoff. And the stats are also outstanding. It's got low special defense, unfortunately, but the defense is excellent, the HP is excellent, and even the attacking stats aren't too bad either. And the sprite, I gotta say, is fantastic on this. That's by Pink Yoshi did that one. Well done to Pink Yoshi for a beautiful sphere, a beautiful basketball full of useful utility for my team. I will use it and I will use it well. And I have to show you this one, folks, because this is a true fan game moment here. One of the strongest boost sweepers in the metagame is Ferrotchomp, who is Ferrothorn and Garchomp combined. You may think this is another damn utility guy setting hazards, but no, this is a full-on Dragon Dance sweeper. Now, they've done a real fan game scenario here, and they've buffed Garchomp significantly, because Garchomp, in Infinite Fusion, receives Dragon Dance and 1,000 arrows, and this is doing a lot of the heavy lifting, honestly, for how powerful this is. With these two options, the guy is insane. Obviously, Dragon Dance is one of the best physical boosting moves, but 1,000 arrows is previously only available on Zygarde. It's a ground type attack that is able to hit flying types. You know, the one glaring weakness of ground type attacks, keeping them in check. What if you could ignore that? Obviously, this is incredible, and by fusing with Ferrothorn, you get access to Power Whip, which is great coverage to hit all the common water ground types running around. They're everywhere because you can construct them from many different sources. Iron Head for Stab is also quite nice in a world full of various different fairy types. This actually has pretty outstanding coverage for most of the metagame while being good defensively too, as Steel Ground is pretty damn good. Plus you got good bulk for setup opportunities. You're a bit slower than normal Garchomp, but the bulk gives you the chance to Dragon Dance up and go to the moon. Plus look at this damn sprite. It's a pretty epic sprite, we cannot deny it. Garchomp encased in grass and metal. That was by Beadarino. Very cool stuff there. Now wait just a second, folks. I have just learned of this one, and I have to showcase this because this is unbelievable. High Mega. High Mega is Hydreigon fused with Yanmega. This is going to be one of the most powerful things I've ever seen. This guy is Dark Flying. Its stats are really good. Has 125 special attack, really well-rounded bulk and speed. And it has Tinted Lens, one of the best offensive abilities in the game, meaning your attacks that are not very effective deal double damage, basically erasing resistances. Usually this is on Pokemon with lower attack to balance it out, but not this time. This is on High Mega here, who has very good stats all around. Plus you get Quiver Dance on top of all that. You get Quiver Dance. My goodness, is this powerful. When the hell did they give this Oblivion Wing, by the way? That must be a fan game moment. They gave this Oblivion Wing, which is the Yveltal signature move. I suppose this evokes Yveltal, doesn't it, being Dark Flying. This is an absolutely unprecedented special boost sweeper. I can scarcely believe what I'm looking at. That sprite is by Silver Totodile, and that is an awesome one. Excellent work. Oh my goodness, it gets crazier, folks. What is going on? Ursa Knight is ridiculous. Ursa Ring X Dragonite. It has a normal flying typing. That's not the crazy part. The crazy part is that it gets Guts, which of course grants 1.5x attack if you are Snattist. And borrowed from Dragonite, you get access to the move Extreme Speed. This is like Arceus normal, but if it had Guts, and also it's actually literally has a higher attack stat than Arceus. And it has Facade as well for double normal type damage. Goodness gracious, this is an extremely powerful breaker. The sprite here is by Pixel Perfectionist. Bearish Dragon, folks. And finally, we'll end with one of the most unique Pokemon I have ever seen. Krukomori, who unfortunately doesn't have a sprite in the builder yet, but it looks like this. Not sure who the artist is on that one, but very good job. This is a truly unique defensive pivot type Pokemon, I gotta say. This is a ground flying type with the ability Intimidate, which has a lot of defensive application, I think. You have Parting Shot to pivot out of the field in a novel turn of events. We're gonna Knock Off to remove the enemy's item. Wait a minute. Wait a second. I've seen this before. I've seen this somewhere before. What does this remind me of? I can't put my finger on it. I can't put my finger. What does this evoke for me? Oh, I know it. This is an exact copy of a staple Pokemon you see all the time. A ground flying type Pokemon you see constantly. Amigo Trio Alola. I knew this. This is exactly like Amigo Trio Alola. You think you could fool me, Krukomori? You are not unique. I've seen this before, damn it. You, with your ground flying typing and Intimidate. Who do you think you are? Folks, if you'd like to try Infinite Fusion OU, you can give it a go in the Pokeathlon server, the same server that offers Mariomon OU, if you recall that one. They also offer Infinite Fusion formats. Very fun. I've been playing it the past couple days and having a good time with the sheer amount of options available and the very novel meta going on in here that does have a lot of very unique stuff in it, truly. And a big props to all the pixel artists. I can't believe how much pixel art is in this, even on Showdown. I'm amazed at, of course, the actual fan game, which has so many combinations, but taking the effort to put all these sprites on Showdown is huge. And the effort from the community to make individual sprites for all these different fusions is also unbelievable. So props for that, of course. Thank you very much to the Pokeathlon Discord community as well, who were very helpful, pointing me towards useful resources for this format, usage stats, and answering any questions I had. I do appreciate it very much. And before I go, folks, just want to remind you that signups are live for ADV Revival 3. This is the biggest open tournament for Gen 3 OU of the year. Completely free and open to enter for anyone. You just got to join the Discord and put a Showdown username in there and you're in. I'll link that in the description along with information on how to join. Thank you for watching, folks.